And we are live.
Sometimes we make the right decision, and sometimes we make the decision right. My name is Sosefina, and this is my cousin Malia. I'm more reserved, and she's the life of the party. We let the universe determine the path we take, but everyone has a choice. Some we regret, some we're proud of, but you know what? At the end of the day, it has to be your choice. This is my story.
Yeah.
Hey.
One day, when I have a lot of money, I'ma be the king of them, sipping on a Jameson. Party, it'll never end. You gon' wanna bring
Yeah, I get it. All the girls don't work in businesses like this, but our people is too damn scared of the real world.
Like the split, take a rip. We gon' dance till the morning come. Like the split, take a rip. We gon' dance till the morning come. Said I'm ready, got my income coming steady. My pockets on swole, my bag is feeling heavy. When I get my dough, my paper.
Polynesian women, we make the world go round.
We taking over this entire block. One love, worldwide.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sosefina. That's right.
Oh, Warriors. All right. We are live, y'all. What's up, everybody?
What's up? What's up?
Welcome to another session of the Double Cloud Podcast. My name is Will, the number one Polynesian podcast in the world. Oh, let's get it, y'all. We have a great show for you guys. As you guys know, my name is Will. I am the host of this show. We have a great show for you guys. As you guys can see, we have some very special guests tuning on tonight for a great interview. I'm very excited for this interview for you guys and for this show for you guys. If you're tuning in for the very first time, thank you so much for always tuning in. I see the viewers popping up. I see you guys tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Much love to you guys and all my subscribers out there, my followers, always supports my platform, my content, always tune in every single week for my shows. Thank you so much for all you guys, all the love and support. You guys already know what to do. If you love the content, appreciate the support, and love the platform, you guys already know what to do. Smash that like, smash that like and subscribe button real quick. You guys already know what to do, man. Much love to you guys. Don't forget, this is a public show, so we have a great panel of guests that we're gonna dive into the Manuscript films, and they're gonna talk about their new movie and the process of creating the great movie that's about to be released this year, 2022. So, Sosefina. Don't forget, we just want to give everybody real quick. We're gonna have a quick Q&A session. I know a lot of you guys were asking me questions about the industry, about filming, and what they do. So at the end of this show, we're gonna have a quick Q&A session for you guys to ask questions, and we'll be able to answer all your questions. Don't forget, we do have the live chat going real quick, so you guys already know what to do in the live chat. Drop some comments. Let me know where you guys tuning in from. Always appreciate your feedback. Everybody always dropping your perspectives, your opinions based on the topics that we always discuss. Obviously, we're going to have some great questions and discussions tonight from these great special guests. So make sure you guys get that live chat popping, y'all. But nevertheless, we do have the Super Chat donations real quick. So everybody that always supports me financially with your pockets through the Super Chat donations, much love to you guys. Thank you for always supporting me financially. Everything will always be reinvested into my platform so I can give you guys a better quality content and to getting my podcast studio. So if you want to ask if you want to drop a Super Chat donation, the best way to do it, ask it through a question, ask it through a topic, so that way we can reciprocate that and answer it live on the show. So if you want to pick one of these guests' brain, you want to ask them a specific question that you guys want to know, just ask it through a Super Chat donation, and I'll definitely give it priority, give you a shout out live on the show, and we'll be able to allow them to respond to your question. But nevertheless, I just want to say real quick to Manuscript Films, I want to give them a shout out real quick.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I am so excited. Man, when you guys first reached out through email and I saw that, and I saw you guys, and I saw why you guys reaching out to my platform, and I was so excited because one of my main goals I want to do for my platform is have opportunity to invite great Pacific Islanders that are doing great work, so we can share our stories and share our knowledge. Because as Pacific Islanders, I believe we have the potential, we have the talent to pursue our goals and dreams, and a lot of times we don't know what to do. Right, we don't know a lot to do. That fear of the unknown kind of paralyzes a lot of people. So for me, I'm always very blessed to have people that are doing great work, making a difference in this world, to be on here and share your stories and share your knowledge and to pass it on to the next generation. So much love to you guys, Manuscript Films. I know we're gonna have a great show for you guys. I see people jumping on the live chat already. Brown girl from the island, excited for the show tonight. Yeah, I'm excited more than you, Brown girl from the island.
We are too.
Don't worry. And Blue 3 Diamond Music, let's go, fam. Yeah, we definitely gonna get it. We definitely gonna get it on this live show. So thank you so much for tuning in. But no, without further ado, I'm gonna ask my very special guest real quick to go ahead and introduce themselves real quick for everybody out there tuning in for the very first time. I'll start with Manu and Hinano. If you guys can go ahead and do a quick introduction, everybody's tuning in. Go ahead.
Oh, for sure. So my name is Taleni Tanielu. This is my wife, Hinano. And man, we appreciate you having us on here, Will. Born and raised in Santa Ana, California. Currently out here in St. George, Utah. My resume is pretty much a recording engineer, script writer, dream hunter, all the above. And I'm just laid back, calm and collected, and all I want to do is hustle. Just want to hustle, trying to better ourselves financially, spiritually, mentally, all the above, you know what I mean? And just grateful to be on this podcast.
And I'm the opposite. I'm not calm or collected. Just kidding. No, yeah. So I'm just super supportive.
All right, no worries. Okay, no worries. Brown girl from the islands real quick said, wow, scriptwriter is so impressive. I know we're gonna drop some bombs and drop some knowledge tonight. So definitely tune in the whole show. Definitely get those questions ready for the Q&A session we're gonna have later on tonight at the end of the show. But yeah, Manu, Hinano, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for jumping on tonight's show. I'm gonna pass it on to the next person. Lee, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, Lee.
All right. Well, my name is Namualii Tofa. I'm born and raised in Santa Ana, Orange County, and I'm a scriptwriter, composer, and a nice dude too. So I'm a good friend. If anybody out there want to be friends, single ladies. A little too early. I'm sorry. A little too early.
Oh, no, it's never too early.
Yeah, so been with the Manuscript Films for quite some times, and yeah, I'm just here to, chat with you and see what's out there, and we open our minds and see what we can talk about. A good conversation. Thank you very much. Much love for.
All right, no worries, Lee. Thank you so much for tuning in, and for all the ladies out there, if you want to shoot your shot. You already know what to do. You know what? We already know what to do. some problems real quick.
Mine was like a water gun.
Yeah.
There was no shotgun yet. Not there yet.
I know. No worries, Lee. No worries, Lee. Appreciate you being on the show. Thank you so much, Oos. And last but not least, Lenny, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
First off, Will, thanks for having our team on your show tonight. It's an honor for us to be on your show tonight. My name is Taleni Tanielu, born and raised in Santa Ana, also Orange County, California. Now reside here in St. George, Utah, with my family and also with Manu. Actually, Manu is my baby brother. I'm the oldest of the family, so we've been doing this together for a long time. I'm also the executive producer and also a scriptwriter, and we're just grateful once again to be part of this show and to showcase and to let everyone know our journey.
All right, no worries. All right, thank you so much, Lenny. All right, thanks so much, all you guys. Real quick, thank you so much for being on tonight's show. But let's get right into it. We have a great topic and discussions we're gonna have tonight. So obviously, what I do want to start off real quick and open up discussion is the story. Is the film that you guys produced, right? can you talk about? Okay, can you guys talk about the film or what it is? Obviously, if you guys tuned in the beginning, I played the trailer so that way people can see what the movie is. But I want to go more in depth of what that story, because I was reading an article. I think it was you, Hinano. You said something that I kind of resonated with. You said you had a conversation with Enola Hayes, and you realized that you missed something you didn't realize before, that there's more to the story than the surface of what people are going to see. So obviously, when people watch this movie, especially in America, like there's so many movies in America, a lot of people might just think, you know what, this is another hustle, stripper hustle movie. Another one of those, right? But I think there's more to that, especially coming from the Pacific Island community. So can you guys talk about what the movie is? So people that tuning in have never seen the trailer, have never heard of the movie, so that way they understand it. But can you also go kind of in depth of what this, go past the superficiality, so people understand like why did you make this movie? What does it really mean to you? And what message did you read people to understand making this type of movie coming from a Pacific Island background?
Yeah, so pretty much Sosefina is about the everyday struggle when we do whatever it takes to make ends meet. It's about consequences, choices, self-discovery. It's pretty much, so it is inspired by a true story. So the story came along when I was 16, back in the 90s, mid-90s, ditching school, doing adult things at a young age, you know what I mean? And ditching school and going to the gentleman's club. And pretty much going over there with the boys and seeing a Polynesian girl on stage, which I feel like it was rare, unless I don't even know what's going on. But it's rare to see a poly girl on stage. You know what I mean? So we ended up talking after. She talked about the struggle, what she had to do, why she had to go through that, and pretty much. So the whole story, it is inspired by a true story, but it's fictionalized in a way where we took the story and captured its essence. But there is some fictionalizations to make sure that when we tell the story that we're able to do it creatively. But other than that, can't wait for everyone to check it out.
Yep. And so to go more in depth with that, when Manu tried to share the story with me, I wasn't even trying to hear it. All he had to tell me was he went to a strip club, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. Pass. I'm not going to even deal with that. So he kept trying and trying. I, just so closed-minded. I didn't want to hear anything about it. And so finally, there's just one night he was like, I need you. I need a director. I need you. And I'm like, fine. Just to kind of shut him up. And I told him the only way I'll be a part of it is if you let me find that answer. And so I stayed up one night just for hours, just searching and searching. And I was like, I'm going to prove this guy wrong. There's no such thing as a Polynesian stripper. And I came across Enola's page, and I went back and forth. I was on the phone with him. I was like, I found one. I don't know. So I sent her a message, or I wrote the message out, and I didn't want to send it because I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I getting myself into? It's not right, because it's not how I wanted to portray Polynesian women. I didn't want people to look at us in a bad way, kind of that little bit of that pride. But I sent it and immediately regretted it. And I was like, shoot, let me unsend it real quick. And then I just saw it popped up. She saw it, and I was like, oh, shoot. And then she sent me a message, and we just went back and forth that night. She shared her story, and it was so similar to Sosefina's story. And I cried on the phone with her. Like, we talked for hours, and she shared just her struggles, losing her mom at a young age and just trying to make ends meet. It was just, she was in high school. She was a rugby player, a rugby star, and she just she changed her life. And for me, it was eye-opening experience talking to her, because I just thought, how dirty is it to be a stripper? And this, and you're just so closed-minded. I was so dumb. But after talking to her, I was like, man, there's more to the story than anybody ever realizes. And everybody has there's always another side to everything. And so I was glad. She taught me so many lessons that night. And from there, we just became super close. And it was more of I looked at her more of as a daughter, and she looked at me as more of a mom, and we just clicked. And even to this day, we talk all the time, and we just got off the phone. We were on the phone for hours the other night. She's doing so good in life. She stopped dancing and whatever else. But yeah, so that's how I jumped on. And that's how I got her, and she was such a blessing to have on set.
All right, no worries. So the story was a true story from your experience, Manu, right?
Right.
All right, okay, all right. I want to Lenny and Lee. Did you guys want to add on anything to the story? Because you guys, I know you guys you guys wrote the script. Just everybody out there to see the story from your perspective.
Let's see. Go ahead, Lee.
He's single. That's why
Man,
he's
my
single.
fat fingers, I'm trying to press it. I'm sorry. I'm like,
Press the mute button.
technical difficulty, guys. Hold on. I'm sorry. But anywho, yeah, when we came up with the script, we're trying to figure it out. It's just like anything. It's like, it's our first time filmmakers. And as a filmmakers, it's like, okay, what do we do? Because we didn't know any of this stuff. So it's just like, well, we got to look it up and then figure it out. So we decided to come up and say, hey, you know what? We got a story. So we started, talking about the story, and then the script, like, all right, how does the script go, and this and that. And so what's a dialogue? What's a description, character? What are we going to do? What are we going to, share this to our Polynesian community, to the, throughout the whole Pacific? Because one thing is that, yeah, there's some things in it that we could have made it a little bit more X-rated and all that, but other than that, I'm trying to make it balanced so we can see that what's going on in over here in America, because if sometimes it's too extreme and nobody's going to want to hear that kind of story, you know what I mean? So we just wanted to have that balance and write the script and say, you know what, there's a way of doing it without even showing some kind of, this and that, you know what I mean? It's just like, we'll figure it out. You just gotta, that's why it's so good to have this team, because we all, each of us has a unique way of explaining like what the ideas are. And then the ideal, is like, what, let's brainstorm together. Let's do this and do that. Take that out. That's not good. Let's do this and that. They say, we got it, so we can have some people watch it, make it comfortable. And then there's some other essence of it could be uncomfortable too, but it's not too dramatic to a point where, no, that's too much. So when you watch this film, like Manu said, it will deliver something else coming from America, and we're Polynesians, and we want to cater to the Pacific people in a way that we can share the story. So that's, that's all from that, from, writing together, me, Manu, Lenny, Nano as a director, and plus she's a great job of doing the directing too. She's the boss. She tells us whatever we got to do on the set too. Well, we'll get to that later. But anyways, but yeah, that's pretty much it. How we got into the script, and Lenny and Manu had some great ideas.
All right, no worries. All right, thank you, Lee. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yep, I'll pass it to Lenny. What are your thoughts, Lenny?
It was a collective team effort in writing this film, and it was really nice to have all of our inputs together as a team in writing this film and directing and doing all of that. But before this journey even started, we were actually working on another working on another film before we started Sosefina. But Manu, he gave me both scripts to read. So the other one that we were going to do, that was in the process, and then Sosefina. So I had to go through them and read them, and just had to really go through both scripts at the same time, just reading it. And we felt that Sosefina was like, the story of Sosefina was had to be told, and that's why we went with Sosefina. So what a wonderful opportunity that we have to share this story and this journey with everyone, and we can't wait for everybody to see it.
All right, no worries. Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys a question real quick. You guys made this movie, And this movie is story is based from the sex industry. And I was reading the article, and it said you guys faced a lot of criticism from the Pacific Island community, right? Yeah, if you're Pacific Islander, we're all Pacific Islander here. We know that when it comes to sex, it's a very taboo topic, right? So obviously, you guys knew the ramifications of how the Pacific Islanders are going to respond to this. What was your thoughts about that? No worries. What was your thoughts about making this movie, knowing that when it comes to sex, it's a very taboo topic in our Pacific Islander community, and there's going to be some backlash. So it's like, what was your thoughts about that? And also wanted to ask you guys, was there like an overall like message that you guys want to send out that because these are conversations I always have all the time. You know, even though in our communities sex is taboo, but if it's something that's we have to address here, living in modern society. And I feel like for me, when you watch the movie, I felt like that was something that you wanted to like open up to have this discussion.
Yep.
But that was just an assumption of mine. But I wanted to hear directly from you. So, what was your thoughts on the criticism you received from the Pacific Islander community? And was there another ulterior motive that you wanted to do with this movie to open up that subject of the realities of sex that's actually happening right now among Pacific Islanders living in America or in the West?
So for me, just growing up the way we did, super conservative, couldn't really talk to our parents about anything, but we were going through a lot. And so not feeling comfortable, didn't have anybody to talk to, didn't feel like we could relate to anybody was tough. So it kind of felt like we were going through it alone, like nobody else could relate. So we didn't want that for our kids. And we just felt like that was something common in the Polynesian culture, not just with us. And so for us, we have open conversations with our kids. Like we talk about things probably not many people talk about with their kids, but we want them to feel comfortable enough. We want it to want to make that okay and normal in our household where they feel comfortable enough to come and talk to us instead of going to their friends or Googling it. Just get information from us. So yeah, for us, that's what it was. Hopefully this will open a conversation in people's homes. So it's a little bit more comfortable to talk about whatever. But like Lee said, in the movie, there's no nudity. Everything is very tasteful. The sex scene is very tasteful. Like everything is just, we still did it because our kids were there with us on set and we still wanted to make it okay for people to watch it with their families if needed. But yeah, so there was no other, like filming it wasn't to go against the culture at all because we weren't purposely trying to go against our culture. We're more geared towards sharing stories that are true instead of fictionalizing sex scenes or whatever, fantasies. And I think that's what people were thinking we were doing was, they just want to talk about sex and they just want to do stripping. But there's so much more to the story than that. And if you look at it, if you watch the movie, hopefully you guys do, it's more than just that. It's the background story of how they got into it. So it's not so focused on the dancing or anything else. It's more focused on her journey and her struggles and how she overcame it and the consequences of her choices and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, we knew coming in that that we were going to have some pushback, some adversity, and just because of our culture, our Polynesian culture, and it's our culture is really not into that, the reality of the world that we live in and that we face on a daily basis. So we knew coming in that it was going to be risk that we were doing the risk as producers and directors and how we were going to film this, and we knew coming in that it was going to be a risk for us.
All right, no worries. And Lee.
Press the mute button.
Oh, sorry. It's probably the Wi-Fi. I don't know. I got to turn on my data or something.
Oh
Well,
my
anyway,
gosh.
this is a shout outs to Metro PCS. Well, anyways, to what you were saying earlier. So, well, let me get back to that. Let me do this first. So, thing with that, with our people, especially the Samoan culture, it's very rich, like what Lenny says. So it is kind of hard to look eye to eye to talk to someone, especially if it's a high chief or somebody, whatever, from Samoan, and they quite don't get it. Just like, oh, it's a movie. Oh, it's good. But just like when they see something like, it's a turnoff. It automatically turn off. But see, what they don't understand is, and I'm gonna get into what you said earlier about how people, the difference in the times. So time is always changing, evolving. It's always that. Generations are always going to pick up something new when somebody has a family and that child is born, whether it's a boy or girl, they're going to end up seeing these things that's happening in that timeline. So whenever that timeline happens, they're going to be talking about what's going on in this Samoan culture, because I want to know more about that. Like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes years down the line. How it goes, I don't know, because dialogues can change easily, and then say, you know what, it's about time to give this kids. These kids are Polynesian or Pacific children to go out there and navigate the world out in America or wherever they go out in the countries, wherever they go into, some professional field and all that. It is great and all that, but you cannot forget this, that there's always a good and bad in everybody. So for me, I'm not going to pick on too many Church of the Members, but it's like that saying, like, how can you go and be this person and pretending, and then yet you do all this other stuff? I can't. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not real. Yeah. So it's like, for someone to judge on somebody's personal life, you don't know the circumstances, you don't know the background, you don't know their upbringing, so you don't know what the values that they learned from their parents and their family, and so on and so on. That's why it's hard for so many of us, Polynesians to conversate with them. With our generation and the younger generation, slowly getting there. It's getting better though. But the others that's still in the first generation that I grew up with, my parents and all that, well, it's a whole different story with my parents. I got, love for my parents and all that. But anyways, the thing is, everybody's different and diverse. So when whatever goes on in your house and all that, you take that in outside, right? You go in the public and do all that. But see, sometimes people don't understand this. It's like, do you understand when that person individually, when they go out there and they try to, do whatever they got to do, it was some kind of whatever career it is or job, that's not the criteria that everybody looks is like, hey, are you stupid? That's a lot of Polynesians, but they look at them and they judge them. So that's the judgmental thing. It's got to go down. You decrease that, because our people are not even, not all, some, myself too as well. I'm just speaking for myself. I'm trying to get out there. I want to share the stories with my team. I want to cater to the Pacific people. I want to show that what the stories that we're telling because it's that saying, every Pacific people, they talk about, we are navigators. Yes, we are. We tell the stories. We're storytellers. So why not do it in here in America? And then share it throughout the whole world out there. I'm pretty sure that they will look at this. This is a big change. Nobody has to do it. So for me, I don't really care for any critics and all that, but I'll accept it. So I get what you're saying, your point and all that. I get it. I understand and I respect that. For me, I'm going to keep it going and then just take that and say, you know what? That is great, because I like to get some reactions and some people talking about it, because there's so many people that look at, say, yeah. And I hate to say this too, is like when they say about the Rock and Jason Momoa, it's like, well, those are the only people that can do it. Well, why not the upcoming artists? The directors, scriptwriters, PRs, extras even, and so on and so on. The camera, everybody. Why not them? So it's very important to to navigate to who else is out there for our, our Pacific people. I don't care where you're at. It's just like, if you want to work, let's do it. But let's get our stuff first out there.
Lee mentioned something about, sorry, Lee, but you mentioned something about storytelling and sharing our stories here in the States. We promote ourselves as Polynesian American storytellers because we noticed that when we went to New Zealand, there was a huge difference between storytelling with us and with them. And so they're amazing. Like, we're in love with the filmmakers in New Zealand. We look up to them so much. But there is a huge difference we noticed when it comes to stories from the States and then stories from overseas. So, we honestly, we just look up to them, and no disrespect to anybody, but there's just different stories, and that's why we have to promote ourselves as Americans so that they know. But there was a lot of, I would say, backlash that we've gotten, but it's all, not everybody's going to agree with stories that you tell. And for us, it's just more of, there's truth to our stories and there's lessons to be learned. So if you come with an open heart and mind, then everybody will be able to learn something. But, can't always please everybody, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of want to expand on that real quick, Will. Sorry. Like, the overall film is not to degrade our culture, our Polynesian culture, and especially women. Especially, there's definitely a good story in this film. So that's why we really want people, when it comes up, we want people to watch it and see it because of the story in itself.
Yeah, that I was just reading some of the articles. That was like one of the things I noticed was like the main criticism from a lot of Pacific Islanders, that you guys were depicting our Polynesian, especially Polynesian women, in a very negative light.
Yeah.
Because you guys already know how sensitive taboo topic is. For me, just watching the movie and getting a chance to read more about you guys, and also, get a chance to hear from you guys directly. What I appreciated what you guys did, and this is something I really pushed for, and one of the things I started my podcast, what I saw was like, you guys are introducing our Tongans to the reality of what's going on in the real world, especially in modern society. We're so limited in our way of thinking, and I think Lee said it best. Times are changing, right? Times are changing.
You're right.
I'm not necessarily saying that we have to change our culture or change who we are. That's what makes us beautiful and unique as Pacific Islanders. I'm saying is we have to be able to adjust to the times and the experiences so we can prepare ourselves for the real world. And oftentimes our poly mindset and our community, we're so quick to judge. We're so quick to be against change. But one thing I noticed about, just my own personal experience of talking with my generation, we lack the real life experience of dealing with the real world because we're so sheltered and because we don't talk about these things, right? Even though we have like 10 kids in every family. Right. But the thing is, sex is a very important discussion to have, especially in a modern society where it's very sexualized. Sex is becoming a social norm. So I think Lee said we have to be able to navigate through these waters, right? But how are our kids or the generation going to navigate through something they have no idea of, and they're just going to go into the real world and just go, have to face it go through the hardships and learn the hard way, where we can have these discussions. And that's what I took from that movie, in my opinion, is like you introducing a reality to the world. We're not here to degrade the Polynesian people. We're not here to degrade our culture. We're just let you know that this is the real world, and this is, if we don't have this discussion and we don't open up this topic, then there is a possibility that our people can be in this world.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a story of what happens if that's the case.
Yeah. So one of the things that was mentioned was while we're in New Zealand, there's no such thing as a Polynesian stripper. Our people will never do that. We'll never disgrace our own family. But we went to a few strip clubs while we're there, and there's strippers there that are Polynesian.
Yeah,
we didn't go for the entertainment. We went to go look for Polynesian strippers.
Educational purpose.
They left me. I wanted to go watch it. They left me there. I was like, you just sit there today.
When we went to, so our purpose was, I wanted to go find it was a personal choice of my own. I wanted to find some Polynesian entertainers to invite them as special guests. And when we went to these clubs, we did find them and we heard their stories, and it was so similar. Kind of outcast of their family, had to make ends meet. The story was all similar. And that was special to me. And I really wanted them to come. When we first invited them, they thought it was to be entertainers. And I was like, no, we want you guys to be our special guests. And a few of them cried and they were like, well, we never get invited like that. It's always the other way around. It's to entertain. But I was like, no, we just wanted to honor them because we know that there's always two sides to every story and everybody has a backstory. And so to prove those people wrong, yes, there are Polynesian entertainers active in Auckland, New Zealand.
But you brought up a very great point, right? The fact that they said, our people will never do that. That's how far away from the sense of reality they are. To think that our people, as human beings, are all capable of doing anything as humans, right? As human beings, it's our human nature to be caught up into when you go through hard times and people are in desperate times. We're all capable of doing anything to survive. And because I've had that discussion before, and I've done my own research for educational purposes at strip clubs, and that's
right, Will. That's right, Will. You the Fresh Prince of Tonga.
I got supported real quick,
That's right.
But the thing is, but you see, like that mentality, right? That they're so far-fetched away from the real world. But this is the reality that we don't have these conversations. That this is what's happening. And I think TL just put up a very good comment on the live chat. I don't think it's so much revealing the reality. What this film does is forcing these realities to be at the forefront, into the light for all to see.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And at least, because I have friends that have gone into that industry, a lot of times in their Pacific Islander, and I had the same reaction with Manu when I first saw Pacific Islander. I was like, "Damn, you got polyscripts in here."
Sure.
Right? It's just like you've never seen it, right? You've never seen it. But the reality is there are, and there's always going to be more as we progress into modern society. And I think you said it, Hinano, right? A lot of these girls don't know, like they think that their story of what they're going through, especially the Pacific Islander women, they think they're all alone, right? So like bringing this to the forefront, like TL said on the comments, and having discussion, whether or not you can help them in their own life journey, because it's up to them to navigate their own life. But at least they know like they're not alone.
Yeah.
And there are other girls like that with similar stories, and whether that helps them or not. But I think that makes a big difference than a girl out there with Pacific Islander that everybody in their community is saying, we never do that. So she just feels, oh my God, like I feel so shameful. I'm the only one doing this, when in reality, it's just the byproduct of living in a modern society.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else want to add on to that real quick?
I just think with that, having that, bringing it to the forefront and sharing stories that are more taboo. It does make people feel a little bit more comfortable and feel like they're not alone in the situation, because I know as Polynesians, we have such a high number of Polynesians that are depressed and that commit suicide or attempt to commit suicide. And that's because look at the way we're raised. We don't talk about depression. We don't talk about our issues. We keep all that to ourselves in our home. So we don't get professional help. That's just, well, I did, but that's just not normal in Polynesian culture. And so I think if we try to normalize these issues and other issues, not just this one, I think it'd bring a lot of healing to a lot of Polynesians, and make them feel a little bit more normal.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. And TL said real quick, our people aren't oblivious to it. They're just holding on to identity that can only be maintained in the islands. But because that identity don't translate well, they hold on and become stubborn.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It's like we're still trying to live in modern society as we live in islands. We're still trying to live the same way. But in order to live in a productive life in the Western society, we have to be able to live in a Western way, but still hold on to identity as islanders. So, but shout out to you guys for that movie. And I'm glad we're having this discussion, because that's obviously a struggle that I noticed within our people. Did you guys lose any friends or family, from this movie? I'm just interested. You guys,
A lot of people were against us, against me as a mother and as a Polynesian female, for what they say is glamorizing this lifestyle, and that's fine. Like, not everybody has to agree with us, and that's like, we are okay with anybody's opinion. You have opinion about us, that's fine. At the end of the day, we had a discussion, our team, before all this started, before filming, and as we knew, as long as our intentions were good, and you know, we knew the purpose of what we were doing, we were going to be 100%. We were going to be good. So,
but my thing is, I can't see them coming down my eyes, so I gotta let the script cry. And for me, is the metric is what are we learning from this? Because we're not just doing the movie just for the stripping. She looks like me. They look like me. My kids can learn something from it. We're learning from other people's mistakes. So, you know, we're not just doing this movie just to glamorize the stripping.
at all. No, not at all. But that's what people thought. People really did. And as a female, they were attacking me for being a female, being a wife, being a mom, and doing this. But again, people just don't understand. They won't get it until they actually watch it. And yeah, for me and for him, especially, and for Lenny with our kids, we're going to have that open conversation with our children. And so if people don't feel comfortable with that, that's fine, you know. But for us, it's not about glamorizing anything. It's about bringing awareness to some things that are kind of tricky to talk about with your family.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, I'm glad you guys came up.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry,
what?
Put yourself on mute, Lee.
No. I'm saying I'm glad you guys came here, so that way people can have an opportunity to hear that from you. Right? A lot of people just, our political people, we just judge, criticize. We don't even want to listen.
Yeah.
The other person. And that's one thing I promote on my platform. Let's have a discussion. Whether you agree or you may have some thoughts about something you may not agree of. Let's sit down and discuss. And that's something I'm trying to change within our community. But I'm so glad that you have this opportunity here on this platform that you can actually express what you want, your intentions, and what you meant about this movie. So the people that do listen, they can have a chance. Oh, okay, this is why you made this movie. And the people that's still gonna hate, hey, it is what it is. People are always gonna disagree. And if all the haters out there,
Silly man, don't be a hater.
Don't be a hater, man. Be a hater, man. Respect the work and drive out. But yeah, mad props to you. I really appreciate you for sharing that. Lee, go ahead, Lee. I know you wanted to share something.
No, I like that. The hater part. So I'll jump in for the haters. So, like we talked about earlier about the critics, they are considered as haters. It depends on what kind of questions you're going to be asking and all that. I'm going to catch you. But the thing is, generally, jokes aside and all that, the thing is when they start talking about certain subjects that they can't, come across with the point, right? So it's very hard for them to understand us still, because it's going to be a continuous thing, so our culture and all that, I love it and all that, but our people needs to step it up and understand that they have their own kids, like I said, the generations coming up, and they're going to be looking at it as like, well, they made a film about this. Hey, shh. It's one of those things that, hey, get out of here. Don't talk about that. Like I said, so it's never ever going to get better. So how are we going to get all these, all these upcoming, artists and kids in general to go in the films? Because I know there's a lot of them out there that they want to be, part of that world. You know what I mean? So it's kind of messed up to judge on someone, like, all the haters and all that. They criticize, but they never look at what the upbringing, the background, and so on, etc. So it kind of sucks because maybe their life wasn't like that. We get it, but can you also kind of like investigate a little bit more what the other side is about? You know what I'm saying? So people out in New Zealand, I love all of them. Australia too, I love all of them, and they're doing a great job out there doing films. Shout out to Brown Boys. The fact, they doing their thing out there too as well, and everybody, Baby Mama's Club and all that. But anyways, these are some of the things that we recognize people's work, right? So why is that everybody got to say something about it? Everybody always has to have the opinion about it. You can do that and all day and whatever, but thing is you don't understand what they're working for. You know what I'm saying? This is something they want to create. They want to establish something, accomplish something. Acting world is, it's amazing thing to share, because you look at our polys when they get the DVD of people in Samoa. We talked about this too, me and Manu and Lenny and Nanu. There's DVDs that people are just doing it, for fun and all this. But the thing is, at the same time, they have some messages out there, and they're telling the story of what's going on. You know what I mean? It's like, well, there's a lot of subject matters. It's like, you can't do this, you cheeky, you do all these things and all that. It's like, hey, this is part of growing up. So it's like, if you're not there, I'm not judging any parent, but at the same time, what I see the outcome is that they're going to be wilding out if you don't, you know what I mean, to teach them from a younger stage. So when you have a baby, of course, you want to treat the baby well and everything. Make sure it's fed, make sure it gets to sleep and wakes up and everything. And then at a certain age, you're gonna, one day talk about these things. I said, Mom, Dad, why is this things happening? Why do we have these things happening? And if the parent does take a step to talk about these issues, that is great. That's what you got to do, because that's being real. What they're going to see out here in America, if they come in from different countries, you know what I'm saying? So it's a different culture. They're carrying their culture from, somewhere else where they come from, and they come over here in America. They're going to see some crazy stuff left and right. It's like, damn, Mom, Dad, I didn't think it was going to be like this. The whole gangbanging, this and the sex and the drugs. Wow, this is crazy. There's so many things that goes on with the child, and quite don't get it. And it's to me, it's kind of messed up. It's sad too. At the same time, it's like, if you don't teach them in that time, they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna be wilding out too. They're gonna be wilding out, and you can't say nothing about it because that's being real. It's like, well, they didn't teach me any value stuff. I went to the strip club. I saw some poly chick. I saw this and that. Well, I'm not talking about Manu too. I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah.
Just talking about general. Even going to parties or whatever the main cases be, right?
Are you talking about
whatever
me?
it
Okay.
is. So, sorry if I got carried away. So I just wanted to say that. But
Lee, when you raised your hand, man, you gave me some flashbacks, man. You gave me flashbacks. I was like, hey,
oh, sorry.
relax.
I'll put my hand down. Sorry about that, Will.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Thank you so much. I kind of want to pivot real quick. I want to talk about the process of how you created this movie. Because I was reading this article, man. I was reading an article more into you guys, and when I saw that you guys were all self-taught, this is a movie, you guys learned this on your own of how to create a movie. Me being a social media content creator, it's hard to create content, but in the scale of a movie, for me, I was like, man, that's so I mad respect. I felt so much respect and admiration for you guys because I know how hard it is to create something. And a lot of people just think that creating a movie, you just find some people, throw some lines, but there's more to it. There's a lot of hard work behind it, and the fact that you guys were only people like me, Pacific Islander, but the fact that you guys were self-taught, because most people will seek that task right make a movie. That's impossible. Make a movie. Our people don't do that. We don't make movies, and we don't. And if we don't have the network and connections, we're not gonna pursue. Like, why would we try something we've never done before? And it was for me, it was like, man, like you guys did this all on your own, and for me, I was like, man, I have to get a chance to talk to you guys because I think that's something that we need to see more representation within our community. But can you talk about that real quick? The process of starting it, starting the beginning. You're teaching yourselves how to make a movie. For everybody out there that's watching this right now that's interested in that industry, so maybe you guys can drop some knowledge and share your story for all those that's watching this right now. But yeah, can you take it all the way back from the beginning?
Yeah. So sometimes you have to make a decision that will hurt your heart but will heal your soul. So we got into the film business from a broken heart, a failed business that we thought that was then that will help us out financially. You know what I mean? So we was in business for about 5 years, but we had to shut down. And it was the music business. I could put that out there. But when we were shutting down the studio, right? I feel like we got a vision on that same day, because it was a battle between my subconscious mind and my conscious mind. Like, what are we gonna do next?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is there a next thing? So I feel like on that day that we were shutting down this business is the same day that I feel like we got a gift from the universe. And the gift was like, it's echoing in my head, like storytelling. You know what I mean? I'm hearing this thing right here, and I'm not really feeling it. Like, where is this coming from? But long story short, later on that day, after we shutting down this business, we was out there grubbing, eating, and I'm still getting the same visions of, like, you know, storytelling, and we're at the team, we're eating at this place as a team, and I'm telling the team, like, what do you guys think about the film business? You know what I mean? And then, but first of all, before I said that, nobody was talking because we was heartbroken, defeated. You know what I mean? And I think what broke the ice was, what do you guys feel about the business, the film business? And then I feel like the answer was there after, because we kept on talking about the film business. Like, you know, let's jump on this, let's jump on that. But a lot of it is you know, it's out there that we're self-taught because we couldn't afford it. The music business is we're relying on the artists. You know, I'm a recording engineer, but if the artists don't come to the studio, we have nothing. We have no product.
Yeah.
So the reason why we jumped into the film business is, one thing is that we can score our own movie, because that's where our experience comes from. But other than that, we would have to learn every single step of the way because we couldn't afford it. And that was something that it's something like you have to transition from the streets to. What we did is we transitioned from the streets to the library. Research every single day. You know what I mean? And a lot of the analogy that I took out of that during that process is you got to put yourself on a house arrest, but you're not arrested though. You know what I mean? You got to put yourself, this is the boundary. This is the boundary. I'm not stepping out of this boundary. I'm not going to the streets. I'm not going to the bar. I'm not going to the club, but we're going to learn this step so we don't have to ask anybody for help. You know what I mean? But, you know, I feel like, because we're a lot older now, but for the kids, I feel like they should go to school for it. But since we're a lot older now, and we have, you know, when you're going through the business of this entrepreneurial business, it's like, when you're young, you have no responsibilities. So everything works out in your favor pretty much. But right now, because we're hitting that age, there's responsibility, and there's this dream that we're trying to hunt. And anybody else want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, Lenny and Lee, like, what was your reaction when Manu was like, "Hey man, what's up with the movie business?"
I'm sorry, I was crying inside, but I broke down a little bit. It hurt my heart. You know, so it's like, damn, man, I might have a heart attack right now. But no, he's definitely right. You know, it was a devastating time, and it was a sad moment, and we were speechless. We couldn't say anything. You know, it's just like when he brought up that question, and we just looked at each other like, okay. That sounds a little different. So, like I said earlier, it's like, how are we going to get this going? And So when we make that decision, transition from, like what Manu said, from music to the film game, that's a whole different step, because all of us could have just separated, just be apart and say, screw it, nothing, music is not our thing, but we keep going, take care of the family, do what you guys gotta do. But, right now it's not a good time, and just like, we'll figure it out. But instantly, when he asked that question, it just come to my mind and just started doing this, and I'm looking, I was like, all right, that could be something, because, we're very creative, all of us. Like I said earlier, we have a unique way of, like, explaining and come up with the ideas and so on, we brainstorm. I was like, all right, that sounds interesting. I said, all right, so now what we got to do? We got to do a script. I said, all right, how do you do that? Same thing. Roll with it, find the basics of it, how to write it, dialogues, and so on. And then we go on and find it, who's going to play for these characters and all that. And the funding and all that stuff, it is very tough and all that, for the people out there. It is very tough. But if you really truly believe that you can make moves and not hear all the noises in the background, it is going to be a good thing. It's going to turn into great, but not there yet, so we got to take that and say, that's a sign right there. We hear ourselves, so we can do it. Let's work together. It's like, I know it's sad to see the artists gone left to right, but it's one of those things you see, like everybody else, all the big stars out there, all the BET Entertainment and so on. I can't name all of them, but so you see all these people doing their thing and all that, right? So it's like we look up to them. We see a lot of them, but there's not enough of us in there. So why is that? So it's like, all right, you know what? We got talent in music, and not to brag about it, but we know our stuff. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that's 10 times or 100 times better than us. For me, when I was making beats in the studio, I thought I was, this shiznit, but I got a lot more, years to come for that, to be recognized, like, hey, you did it, you did this, and then hey, Manu did this, and hey, Nanu and Lenny, you guys, oh man, we want you guys, and if that time comes, man, be happy we did something, we got to accomplish something. So it was very hard for us, and in that timeline. So now that we look at it, in this timeline, we're well experienced and well prepared for the next projects coming out. So for that, we have to perfect everything that we got from after this Sosefina film. So there is going to be a lot of haters and so on, like, what we talked about earlier, but it's fine. As long as we got this first film out there, we established something, the world to see it, and if it doesn't get all the way to across the world in the United States and all, at least we want to cater to our people, to our Pacific people. I want, I want to cater to them too. They have to see it. You know what I mean? It's like what Manu said. There's a lot of us that look like them, look like us. So it's like we got to share that story with them, and that it comes all in experiences. Yes, we were scared. Yes, we were kind of doubtful and all that, but we still had the courage for each other. It's like, we can do it, man. Just I know the funding is going to be hard and all that, but let's just try to figure it out and just get the script step one and all this and that, and then once everybody gets in the gear to that, man, we can be unstoppable together as a team. I don't care about anybody else, but I wish everybody the best of the luck to them to be part of this, so I can see them like, damn, Tofa, let's do it, man. Like, what other films are you guys coming out with? You know what I'm saying? That is a great feeling. That's a great reaction. Yeah. That's what I want to see, because we are not going to sit around about them, say we shut down the studio and this and that. It's no
Yeah.
hard feelings and all that. We share that with everybody. Everybody knows, but we already have moved on, and so we're moving to the next.
Right.
So that's my own take on
It's,
that.
it's one of those things, where you just gotta boss up and create your own lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Vision is the audacity to see the invisible.
Mm.
You know what I mean? No one is gonna come and help you. They're not gonna wake you up. They're not gonna help you. Nothing's gonna get funded. I mean, I'm just talking about our journey. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to put all your money into it if you want to do it the way we did it.
Yeah.
All your savings, your car, you're gonna have to get it repoed. You're gonna have to lose your house. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to eat top ramen. You're gonna have to eat eggs, peanut butter, and jelly if you want to go this route. That's why I said for the kids, they should go to the film school for it. But since we're a lot older, I ain't trying to sit in the classroom right now.
We kind of had a fast
Yeah.
track because we were just much
Yeah.
older than this generation. So we're not saying to do what we did, but you still can do it if you have that drive.
Yeah. Mhm.
But I mean, it's better to go to school and learn those tools, to get better and perfect. But for us, we just kind of had to go on the fly and try to do things and learn things. Go to the library, like Manu said, and just try to read up on things, on films and script writing and all that, And watching movies was another thing to kind of like, because we all love watching movies and stuff. So, just watching different genres of movies and getting a feel of what movies are and all of that kind of helped in a way, in a sense too, with that. And going along, I'm going to go back with our failed business because that was our baby. Music is a passion of ours, and we were able to do that studio for quite a bit and help out with our community in music at that time and period. But with that failed business, it kind of we bounced back from it. So we learned from that, and then we bounced back, and we've gone and moved over to films, and now we're trying to, we're still learning. We're still learning as a group and as a team, and how this whole process goes, and you just that's what it is. You just gotta have that drive.
All right, no worries. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I have some guys with some people that had some comments real quick. Gail said our people underestimate just how powerful we are as the greatest navigators and orators of the Pacific Ocean. We still carry the same knowledge base and process as they did. Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you guys shared that process, because oftentimes, we live in a instant gratification society today that everybody wants to be at the finish line, but nobody wants to put in the work and go through the process, right? And a lot of times when people see people, accomplishing things, they just think, oh, they're the lucky. Oh, it was easy for them. I love how you explained that it wasn't. Like, you guys have responsibilities. You made a lot of sacrifice. You invested. You put some sacrifice in only your financial savings to put into it. I love what you said. You had to put yourself in house arrest, but you're not arrested. but that is just discipline, right? You have to discipline yourself to sacrifice what you want for the future more than what you want now. And man, that's for me. I think a lot of more people need to hear that, especially in today's generation, where anybody can be successful. You got to put in the work, the dedication, the time, have a vision, have belief in yourself. And like I said, I love how you guys said, like, hey, this work for us, but there's always a better way to do it. Right. So if you can take that route. But I want to ask you guys this question. So was there any what was like the hardest thing of making a movie? Like what was the most difficult thing? Was it finding the cast? Was it getting the finances? What was like the most difficult thing that you guys struggled with to like really overcome, just get the movie going?
I think it was location.
Location.
Because we live here in Utah, so it's a little different than California, and so that was we were debating whether to shoot this movie in California or somewhere else, because there wasn't no places to where we can go and shoot this movie, or just the scenes for the exotic dancing and all that. That was going to be one of the difficult things, because there was no such place here to do that. So I think that was one of the locations, was one of the difficult things, but we realized that St. George was the place to do it.
And just sorry, real quick, but we shot at this hotel that I work at, Red Lion. So his name is AJ Patel. He owns the hotel, and he was at first he agreed to let us borrow just one room. Second day on set, he came on. He was like, "What?" We took over the kitchen, the restaurant, all his ballrooms, his conference. Yeah, we took over everything. But he was so supportive of it. So we were able to turn something simple like a conference room into our gentleman's club and stuff. But what were you gonna say?
I would have to say, besides the location, it's the finance. Money makes the world go round. It makes it easier. So you're gonna have to think creatively. Like, okay, so this scene was set to be like this, but we'll just use this and we'll just see how it turns out.
Yeah.
Adapt in any situation. But the money was the big issue throughout the whole process. Big time.
It wasn't the easiest, and there were arguments about it, but we were blessed. Yeah,
we lost a lot of weight during the process.
We're getting it back.
We had some, there's a few ideas we're thinking about robbing the bank, but I don't know if we're quite equipped with that. So.
He would never make it. He's so slow. He was so.
That's why I'm going to drive. I drive.
You can't even drive.
I can drive. As long as my foot can get to the pedal and we keep it going.
I can tell you about this, Will, is that, man, we had a great cast.
Yeah.
And it's out there. All we had to do was bring them down. They didn't get paid.
Yeah.
We was eating sandwiches, McDonald's pretty much. We had a good meal the first and the last. But during the, because we shot it in 2 weeks, 145 pages, which it's supposed to take a month to do that.
Yeah.
So we was hustling like all day, all night. So yeah, and truly grateful for the actors for hustling with us,
being prepared,
believing in the process.
Yeah. Diamond Longi, she had to learn 3 different characters. And the last character that she ended up learning was the one that she played, Sosefina, but she learned that one on set. As we were filming. But they all came prepared. Everybody became family on set. Everybody took care of each other, looked out for each other. So that was a huge blessing for sure.
All right. Yeah. I want to ask the script writers real quick, because I know Lenny, and I saw on your title was like Lenny, Namu, and Lee. I'm sorry, Lenny, Lee, and Manu. You guys wrote the script in 3 days.
Right.
But I mean, I could barely write a resume in 3 days, but you guys wrote a whole script.
Lenny for a whole year.
Lenny was talking about that we had another script, and that took a while.
Yeah,
it took us that script. It took us a while, but when we figured out that wasn't the right story, because I'm gonna tell you this, because that story was all about marijuana.
Yeah, it was a different type. It was a really different type of movie, but it had its own story too. But I think Sosefina is perfect for this time right now.
Our people's gonna be like, take your movie away from here. You know what I mean? But we learned the process from our first script. So when we went to our second script, it took us 3 days, and then we finalized a week after.
All right. Can you take everybody out there to the creativity process? Like how do you just write a script? I mean, maybe you guys are just natural, but like
it's coming up. Go ahead. Just coming up with ideas. Yeah. Just ideas off of your head or experiences that you've been through. You write it down, jot it down, and hopefully, something. Oh, sorry. And hopefully something comes out of it. So it's just ideas and experiences that you might have, and just jot it down on a piece of paper and go from there.
Okay. So when you're going through the process of writing, like I told you, we just learned. It was hard at the beginning. Big time, but now if you tell us like how the writing process is now, it's organically like a rapper that freestyles. All we need is a paper and pen. So a lot of the process is meditating to visualizing the script first. That's the step right there. Like we talk about it, brainstorm. This is the bullet points that we're gonna reach. This is the beginning. This is the end, and this is the beginning, the middle, and the end. But there's a format, there's a structure that these balangis they go by, and we break a lot of rules. You know what I mean? They say Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, but we're probably gonna put Act 3, Act 2, Act 1, and we're gonna flip it. Yeah. We just do it our way, and we tell our own stories. You know what I mean? That's why, like, I could tell you this: when we were submitting to these companies about our scripts, man, we get a failed grade because we're not following a certain format. The certain format is you stick to this, and that. But this is how we write. So how are you going to take that away from us? And by the way, you guys don't know our stories. You know what I mean? So a lot of it for me, how I write is I meditate, and how I feel that this is the story. I feel like, but a lot of it is we write stories of what we've been through. What makes it a lot easier.
But was there's like just looking back at the work that you guys did, or was there things that you had to take out, or the things that you look back at it now, man, we shouldn't have taken it out? This is a thought that came up to my mind.
Yes. So since you guys know, so Sosefina is our film school 101.
Yeah.
And just to put it out there, the film was almost 3 hours long. But now it's cut down to where where all the movies that come out in theaters, it's like pretty much 95 minutes and under that.
Yeah.
But we learned a lot on that, with because there's a different. It's something else when you start from scratch and you have a finished product. So you directed the movie, you wrote the movie, you composed, you edited, you did the sound design. It takes you to a whole different level. We're going to the moon.
It's emotional.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's just what before that movie and after that movie, it took us on a different level. I call it $1 million mindset on a low income status. Because now our creativity is on an all-time high. Now what's next? Sorry, I don't know if I answered your question though. I'm on a different level.
No, bro. I'm just you talking.
What is the question again?
I'm not going over here to the moon.
Yeah, I gotta give you a shout out, man. Yeah, you're talking right now.
Appreciate that, man. I just wouldn't. I don't know. Yeah,
I'm writing it down, man. $1 million mindset with a low
income
status.
Right?
Yeah. But I want to ask you this, because I think this is really what separates people that do really well and people that don't. It's like I was reading the article, right, and I think was it they were asking Hinano, and then you were telling her, just watching your husband get rejected day after day after day, and that was hard on you, right?
Yeah.
So obviously that's hard on everybody, right? Yeah. And we all go. If you're ever going to accomplish something in life, struggle, challenge, adversity is always going to be a part of it. It's inevitable. But the people that push through it. But for you, like going to those movie theaters, they're telling you that you will never make it. Nah, you don't know how to write a script. How do you overcome that? Because most people will quit at the first 1 or 2 rejections, but you overcame that, and I think that's some reflection on you as a person. That's also a reflection of the team, of you guys sticking together even through the hard times. Because I know it's not easy. But can you talk more about that? Because I think that's people need to hear that.
For me, it's when you feel like you're going to die every day, you do whatever it takes to succeed. I already lost a lot already. What is this? This is nothing, I lost my mom at a young age, and that's painful than whatever I'm going through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what keeps me going. And a lot of this, because we tapped into a lot of business before this film thing, but I think what set apart with this one is that there is no plan B or C.
I like that.
This is plan A. This is all
plan A. We're going to ride or die.
Mm-hmm. Make it a die.
Yep. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I can't tell you how many people we talked to and met with, how many people we called, we emailed, we drove miles, hours of meetings, phone calls, and to get denied. You feel like shit.
Yeah.
Big time. But use that as motivation. I mean, I'm a lot older now, so I could use that. But if I'm a lot younger, man, I'm gonna go crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whenever I remember when I asked my wife to jump on, we just met with $1 million I call him $1 million guy because he was worth $1 million. For him to tell us that we don't know what we're doing, man, we should just throw him in the trunk real quick. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That was those three ideas. They're three right there. Nano, Manu, and Lenny. So
that's just
I'll let you know.
That's just all talk because I ain't down like that. But you know, I'm just thinking man. I'm just thinking like, man, to go through this whole process. And for me, this whole process, we've been getting signs and symbols. You know, every time we stepped out of the journey, we had a sign and symbol to get us back on. So that day after meeting this $1 million guy, my wife just walked in, and then I'm just going through her portfolio, her resume, and she's like, look, she likes to be a boss. That's the same thing that directors do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I just said, what do you think about jumping on and directing this film? And then, you know, we just did that, you know.
And yeah, what was it in Hinano, like when he told you to jump on, like what was your initial reaction? Like,
nope.
I can hear it from my house. No.
Oh, I was there. I ran out of the house. I was like, you're on your own. You got to do it yourself.
So, no, I really thought about it because, like you were saying, I was watching him get all these rejection letters, but I would also see, like, people don't understand the background of it. When they think writing, they think like school hours, you know, just a few hours a day. Manu would lose sleep over writing. He would stay up all night, wake up early in the morning. Like, he would lose sleep. And to watch him work hard all day and to get these rejection letters, meetings, and just being denied, I was hurt and I was kind of upset. He had one rejection in particular that I won't mention, but that really pissed me off. And I looked at him, I was like, fuck this, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. And so that's when I jumped on, and I thought, man, he's crazy. I've never done this before, but you put all that aside. For me, I put it aside because I wanted to help out, and because I believed in him and I believed in the team. And since we weren't getting the opportunity, I was like, we'll create our own. Forget everybody else. We'll just do this on our own. And I mean, I think it's a lot of it right now. It's like we're not really getting the opportunities, so we got to create our own opportunities. And yeah, so I was happy that he asked me, but I thought I was way over my head with this one. But
now you have that on your resume. You are.
That's right.
I do now. I love it.
Now the next
on
one
her
comes
resume.
with experience.
You have that experience. You know
That's right.
It's fun, yeah.
How many Pacific Islanders can say that, right? You directed the movie, right? So shout out to you. Shout out to you.
That.
Thank you.
No. I love what you said. Like create opportunities, right? And oftentimes I have these conversations all the time. I do really believe what you said. Like if you want to be successful in anything, you gotta cut out all the plan B's, plan C. It has to be plan A. One of my favorite sayings is like, burn your boats. If you want to take the island, burn your boat where you have no chance but sink or swim.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And and that's something that I'm glad you guys share that, because I do believe a lot of times people think that it's like this magic formula, or this is like that. Certain people are just blessed with this talent. No, it's just you gotta put everything into it and on yourself. You gotta bet on yourself.
Yeah.
And then people who tend to put themselves in a situation where they have to sink or swim actually make it. They make it because you have no other option, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't pay with everything with dream currency. It takes hard work and dedication.
And then I think Daniela brought it up on the chat. It's like you don't really know who you really are unless your back is against the wall.
Yeah.
When you have no other option, that's when you really got to dig deep and you really look into yourself and really know who you are. Like when you have no other option but to make it, that's how you really find out more about yourself.
Mm-hmm. And with us, I feel like we have our kids that look up to us too, and that we're watching Manu work and the team work, and so a bit of my motivation, and I know Manu's too, was because we always preach to our kids that go for your dreams, go big, but we weren't actually following through with that. So I felt like this was a good way of doing that. It's like, This is us with no experience, no not enough money to do it. We didn't have any excuses. We did it. And we brought our kids to set, and instead of preaching, we showed them through example that, you know, you just go for your dreams.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Yeah, thank you so much for the conversation and sharing your stories, man. Dropping a lot of knowledge and bombs tonight. Everybody on the live chat, thank you so much on the live chat. You guys already know. I see a lot of you guys posting your thoughts real quick. Let me know what you guys think. And you guys already know, if you love the content, appreciate this, anyone want to support the channel, and definitely support them as well. Press that like. I do want to play a clip real quick on the movie. It was a clip that I saw a deeper meaning or message behind that dialogue. But I want to ask you guys, the scriptwriters, I want to ask you directly, because I think there was a big meaning. That line right there had a big impact on me, especially how Pacific Islanders of why we're not at where we need to be today in modern society. I want to ask you. I want to play the clip real quick, and I just want to ask your thoughts on what you guys meant by that line. If there was a deeper meaning that you guys meant for that line. And it's a clip by Joshua
Leomiti.
Shout out to Joshua. I was able to connect with him real quick. Shout out to you, Joshua. But this is the clip I wanted to play real quick.
Working businesses like this, but our people is too damn scared of the real world.
So what was it meant by that line right there? Our people.
Yeah. So
too damn scared about the real world. That hit me. But I had my own how I interpret that message.
Yeah.
What you guys mean by that line? Like, our people are too damn scared about the real world. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's motivation. We're calling our people out.
Yeah.
Big time.
That's what it was.
Yeah. You know, we pretty much gotta stop looking at the other races and do our own thing. You know, what I feel like we need more successful Polynesians so we can look up to. A lot of this journey was because we didn't have a mentor on this journey. I would love to have a mentor on this journey. So a lot of it is like, man, we gotta step it up. We need more millionaires, and now billionaires is in the talks now. We need more of those because we need the next generation to follow through. Because if we don't do our part now, the next generation is going to suffer.
Facts.
Big time. So now they're going to go through the same thing we went through. When we got to handle our business now, so we can, you know, make it easier for the next generation. And because I can tell you this: when we set these meetings, there's no data on this.
True.
So they say, so what is your film compared to? And then I'm be like, okay, so I think it's like Ice Cube's movie. You know what I mean? But it's not really like Ice Cube's movie. So we have no Polynesian movies to compare our movie to. And that's what makes it hard right now. This lane, there's no lane yet. So it's kind of like pioneering this lane for the next generation, pretty much, even though I'm not trying to put us out there like that. So that whole dialogue is our people is too scared of the real world. That's motivation. Like, come on, let's do it. Let's get it. Let's get that money and let's help each other out. Let's work together. Let's start some businesses. Whatever we got to do to, help them. Because, it's not about us. It's about who's coming up next. You know what I mean? A lot of these other races, they look out, oh, who's this guy? Okay, you're going to get it? Okay, come on, we got you. But we don't have that. It's hard to get finance in the Pacific Islander demographic period. You know what I mean? So that the whole line was just motivation. Like, come on, let's do it. What did you think about it, though? What did you think about?
Yeah, what was your take? What was your take, Will, on that line, on Joshua's dialogue right there?
Exactly what Manu said. Like, we're so afraid of the real world. We're so afraid. We're so afraid of getting judged, getting criticized, trying new things, and I absolutely believe what you said is we need more people to step up, and so we can be represented, so people can see that it's possible, right? something that's what I did that's why I started my podcast and trying to do what I do on my platform. I was like, I saw there was no social media presence for Pacific Islanders on a podcast so we have open dialogue. And I saw everybody else did it. And I was like, man, like how come if they can do it, why not us?
Mhm.
And I'm trying to create the lane for us that we can do we can be successful on podcasts as well. But I think that's the thing. We're just so afraid, and whenever I talk to my peers and my friends, like, oh, it's never been done before. Making excuses, right? Making excuses. I've never been done. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the resources. I didn't go to school. I didn't have the right upbringing. I didn't have the parents. I mean, that's just life, man. That's just life to me. And we all come from different situations. And for me, it's like, man, like all of us we're doing. Look, we're doing what we do in our line of work without no representation to compare to. Imagine if we create a legacy where they can see a body of work, right? They can see a body of work. So that's what we're creating for the next generation. And then that's why I respect you guys. I saw when I read your story when you guys reached out, I was like, man, because the next generation is going to come up after us. At least we are set. At least we created a lane. And at least they have something that they can see that's possible.
Right.
That's the biggest thing I have with conversations like, oh, it's never been done before. Like, and then, why do you think you're going to make it? Because nobody else is doing it. Well, somebody has to do it, and why not me?
Mm-hmm.
Lenny, you have something to share?
No, you're good. No, you continue on.
But I can say this though. There's a Pauly that's the highest paid actor in the world. So this is the best time to be in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
The Rock is putting it down. You got to give him props for that. If we would take all of that and just use that as motivation too, like, man, everybody, Pacific Islanders, he's getting paid. He's one of the highest actors in the world, and we should just follow suit.
Yep.
I know exactly. Lee, do you have something to say, Lee?
Yeah. Okay, it's my turn again. So, anyways, he is right. That's what I like. What he's saying. The Rock he's one of the highest paying actor out there, and he's have to be Afghani, or I don't know that term Afghani, but he is half Samoan and black. So for that, the world seen his work and then all that. It is amazing what he has done, and it is amazing story what he has shared. Coming from his background, everybody knows from the islands. We all know who Peter Maivia is and all that. I had to learn that from my parents and my grandparents and know that. See, the whole thing with that, when you see a rising star like him, and up to the date on this timeline, that we're seeing The Rock doing so many things in life. So for that, he is right. Manu is right. It is a perfect time to get in. But at the same time, there's other people that was doing filmmaking. It's like, it's like we all should be doing it anyway, regardless if it's The Rock, Jason Momoa, or Sosefina, and so on, whatever. That's the big names in the Polynesian community. You know what I mean? We all should just try to figure it out. If that's what you're going for, if that's what you're aiming for, hey, why not do it? And
I don't
it is
know
a
if
great time
we.
to do it.
I'm not sure if we mentioned it, but our goal was to have it all polycast and crew.
Yeah.
And so for
Yes, sir.
the cast, we wanted to, of course, we see The Rock, Jason Momoa, but we wanted to find some up and coming actors, some unknown names, and we were able to find a lot. And we were blessed to have Diamond Longy as our lead, and then the other cast that we had, just amazing. And we just wanted to showcase them as well. So yeah, that's our goal, The Rock and Jason Momoa. But I mean, our goal was to also give opportunities to our people, because I don't feel like we get enough opportunities. I feel like we don't get our people don't get seen as much as the other cultures and races do. So.
But I love how you guys responded. Oh, go ahead, Lee.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say is like I like how you guys took accountability. Like, you know what? There's no opportunities. I'm gonna create my opportunity. Where most people are like, oh, there's no opportunity, then it's over, right? But you guys created it. Go ahead. I just had to throw that out there. Yeah, Lee, go ahead, Lee.
No, it's just saying, just to add on a little bit about, what Nano has said, there is some great artists out there, some great actors and actors out there, that's getting out there. You know what I mean? It's one of those things we have to recognize, like I said earlier, these uh these amazing people are trying their best to get out there as well. They want to, try to get to the lead or try to get into that, the part of the movie or so on, so on, so on. And it's a great thing that we grab all these unknown actors and and I'm glad also that they participate in this this Sosefina film. It was just organically and natural. It was just like it was crazy. So it was just like looking at, like I said, we were looking at the script and all that, and when the actors doing their dialogues and all that felt organic and that felt nice and all that. I would love to see more our Polynesians doing that too as well if they're in it. You know what I mean? So it's a great feeling to see them doing what they want to do to share their skills assets, out there into the world. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is it's a great opportunity for them and great opportunity for us to launch out even more. It can be a thing where it's a longevity life kind of thing, you know what I mean? Because if we set the goals and whatever the timeline is, and then later on years, they're going to want to see that as what are their struggles and this and that, and then so on, so on, so on, so on. People are going to want to jump into it. So that's why I'm glad that we're into the film business in this timeline right now. So seeing Diamond playing her character and the rest of the crew, they have done an amazing job. So that's it's really breathtaking of seeing our fellow Polynesians doing these dialogues and acting it out from the script that we wrote. So that's my take on that.
No worries. Yeah. No, I always say, I mean, I wasn't born in the States. I grew up in Tonga and I moved here. And for me, it's like, man, like I just think that America is one of the best places to live. We have so much opportunity here. And that's just my mindset. And there's nothing that can stop us from doing what I need to do and fulfilling our own purpose here. But I just see a lot of times when people don't see it that way, and we just need more people to be represented and see that it's possible. So especially directing movies, that's big. But I want to ask you guys real quick, just to before we conclude the podcast, I just want to get some time one-on-one for you guys, like your kind of like your personal story, so people kind of know where you guys came from personally, and how did you guys get to where you guys are right now. And just ask you guys real quick, what was the biggest? Because one of the things that I always notice when we go through these journeys, like we always we're constantly changing, improving as a person. Like the person you are in the beginning stage of the journey is totally different of who you are at the end of the journey, right? And of course, the journey hasn't ended yet. But yeah, like I just want to ask you guys, like if everybody's watching this right now, where did you come from? So that way people get some context of where you came from, and what was it like growing up, and what did you find out about yourself when through this whole process of the movie. I'll start with you, Lenny. Like, people are watching this right now, just want to know more about you. What drives you? What did you take away from this movie? What did you learn about it? That's when I just want to give some time for individually as a cast.
So I'm Taleni Tanielu, born and raised in Santa Ana, California, and where we grew up was rough.
Yeah.
With gangs, drugs, violence. We grew up around that. And for me, growing up, it's tough. Growing up in a Polynesian household, and it's tough. It's growing up. My brother knows that. With having to deal with the Fa Samoa and with your parents. Like my brother said, we dealt with tragedy early with my mom passing away. with mom passing away at a young age. So we all kind of had to, learn together, in helping my dad out at that time. But then my dad got remarried again, and so we were able to, be together again. But this whole journey, Sosefina, was hard. It had its adversity and its obstacles and all that, But with the support and love with the family around us, that's all we needed, and including our team. That's all we needed was the support from our family, especially my wife and my kids, and especially with the families that we surrounded with Manu and all of them, and especially and Lee's family too, and everybody else, our extended families. We couldn't do it without all the support of all of them. This journey also helped us to get through better, for the future of things that are to come, and better ourselves with this experience with the whole Sosefina, because there's a lot of other things that are on the way, and we're looking forward to that, to open more doors for opportunities to add more actors and, directors, and all of that. So that's a little bit about me.
Of course. I have a quick question to you, Lenny, real quick. Was there something in that process of the journey, did you learn about yourself that you didn't know you were capable of just because of that whole process? Like, did you something you found out by yourself?
Just the whole process itself, because like I said, we were self-taught, and not knowing the steps and that we had to go through, it kind of bettered myself, and also script writing too. We're still learning, as for me, we're still learning too as script writers and all that. But really, that's basically just learning on the fly, and the experiences that we experienced shooting this first film on our own.
All right, no worries. Right, thank you, Lenny. I'm gonna pass it to Lee. Lee, give us the short version, Lee.
Yeah, thank you.
Wait, hold up.
That's enough.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. That's the limit of the keywords I gotta say, and that's it. You just kick me out.
I'm just playing this. Go ahead, dudes.
Go ahead.
No,
Go
that's
ahead.
Okay, long story short. With my family, we're all screwed up in the head sometimes. And that's being normal. That's for us being normal. I grew up in the household of Mormons. Yes, I'm a LDS, but I ain't ashamed of it. But sometimes I got to navigate somewhere else. And, years and just thinking about it, it's just like, I have changed and grown in so many ways. So I'm starting to understand even more myself and what am I getting into. So it just recently I just have my dad pass away. So anyways, same thing with these guys. They have their parents have passed away and their fathers as well. But that's what makes us special, because in our circle, we're so small, right? And we do everything ourselves. And we don't depend on nobody else but us. It's like if we have questions, we talk to each other. There was nobody else in the team like that. So since Music Day from Manuscript Island Records, and then transition into Film Game, this is Manuscript Films, and I'm affiliated with them. So my household was a lot. There was a lot of opportunities. I'm not gonna lie, but growing up and seeing, my dad gave me a lot of things and a lot of word as of wisdom, as well as my mom too. We try to keep it holding together and all that. My siblings, I still love them no matter what. But at the same time, with this timeline, it's getting better. So what I learned is that you can't give up on this. So no matter what, you just got to continue to figure out what you got to do. And especially when you got these lovely people around you, because I got friends. I'm sorry, man. I'm just like, kind of choking up, but I do got friends, but there's some real friends. And, there's there's some, there's big differences of a friend and a real friend. That's what I look at. Somebody that told me, he's like, choose who your friends are. I chose wisely. Of course, I'm going to pick these guys because they have my back. We've been through it all. We've been through with no money. We've been through, so many things. And like he said, he's been, repoed and all that. The same thing. And we have some tragedies in our family and all that. But, it's not about like, oh, who got the worst and this and that. But in the timeline, it just happens to be that and after the other. And that's what makes us strong in this team. So I've learned a valuable things in this Manuscript films a lot, and they helped me push even more. So the friends that I have and all that, it's whatever. It's in the time being, but this one right here is a family. So that's what helped me grow even more, and becoming a scriptwriter and learning off from Manualii and Hinano. We all team up and we just analyze, just like figure out what we're gonna do. What is the the next thing we gotta do? What's the next move to keep our team going? What is the success here? What is the goals? What is the establishments? What can we accomplish? Because it's like what Manu said earlier, and we're not young, we're old. And yeah, there's nothing wrong going to school for it. And encourage all the Pacific kids to go schooling. You can go to school and learn. There's nothing wrong with that. But self-taught we took the route because we know what it takes to get there. If we don't have money, we're going to figure it out. So how are we going to do this? I definitely had no money. So I'm glad these guys still love me to this day. Oh, see, look at their faces. They're not even anything.
We're going to after this invoice.
No worries.
So that's my whole life thing. And I mean, there's more to it, but that's a whole different chapter of the book. Yeah, I'll just leave it right to that. So I'm just grateful to be here with you, Will, and part of this podcast. It's an amazing thing that we're having this open discussion, and we can talk about what the filmmaking is about with ourselves. Just give you a little introduction about ourselves. So thank you very much for that.
No, before I pass it on to Manu and thank you, Lee. Before I pass it on to Manu and Hinano, you said something that was very profound to me. I think you said that you picked the right friends. Man, I think, man, you know how many times I have homeboys, right, or people I know that they're good people, have talent, have potential, but they just pick the wrong friends. You can waste your whole life just hanging around the wrong people, and sometimes that's all it takes. Of course, it takes hustle, ambition, and grind, and a lot of you guys said the work. A lot of one thing I've learned in my life is a lot of the people who make it in life is making sure that they align themselves with people that had the same vision and purpose and path they did. And and I think that's something that needs to be said out loud. So everybody out there, especially other people, man, that choose the right people and pick good friends, real friends like Lee said, and not the fake friends, not the someone, the people that always talk. I don't know. In time we're talking about, I don't know what you call it, someone. I'll pass it to Manu Hinano. Your little story.
Appreciate that. Before we start, because COVID did shut down our premiere. What was it? 2 years ago. And we did lose some family members. We lost Mr. Tofa, Lee's dad, and my wife's dad. That was a big part of our film. So just want to put that out there. lot of dedication to those guys for helping us out too. Alex Takiro and Mr. Tofa. I'm trying to. Okay, so this film journey has been special to me. You know what I mean? What script writing did for me is what prescribed pills couldn't do. You know, when I told you earlier that I had some health issues, it's mental issues. I'm gonna keep it real. And when I'm able to tap into script writing, it takes me to a whole different world. Everything is lost. I'm in a different zone. That's why I love writing. I love script writing. But for me, so this whole journey for me is like, you know, it saved my life, big time. And my main motivation is generational wealth and seeing my bank account reading financial freedom. I want to be able to set my own schedule, spend time with my family more, you know what I mean? At the same time, succeed in the process. And, you know, my brother said that, you know, we grew up in the gang era, but I could say this, though. I'm not a product of my environment. I'm a product of a broken home. You know what I mean? So a lot of my desire, my drive and all that, it comes from wasted time. I'm an ex-convict. I'm a troubled teen. So I wasted so much time. So right now, I just hit the 40 club. I really don't have no time for anything. Everything else is just noise. You know what I mean? I really want to succeed before I depart this earth. You know what I mean? I want to see something. I want to feel that. You know, I want to feel it. You know, I want to feel that $1 million in my bank account and just, you know what I mean, spoil my kids and my family. You know, I want to feel all that. You know what I'm saying? But I guess I can say that this journey has brought us closer as a team for sure. You know, I call this team, I call it 4 CEOs on the same team. You know, we hybrids, we do different things. You know, it's like a relay race. We're going to pass the baton. Okay, this is your turn. And then he's going to pass it back. You know what I mean? And what I would say to all our poly people out there is like, if I would sum up our journey, I would say that keep going. We didn't give up. You know what I mean? It's always back to the drawing board. Okay, look, we messed up right here. Let's figure this out. You know, keep going because I like this quote that I read the other day was shoot for the stars because when you miss, you land on the moon.
The moon, yep. You
know what I mean? You're a lot closer than you think. You never know. To me, man, I'm an introvert. So I don't like to do this. I don't like to be all this up in the cameras and everything. I'm more behind the scenes type of dude, you know what I mean? But you got to do what you got to do to get your story out. And that's what I learned, like, on this process. Is like, man, once you get into that thing where, like, you could do anything is possible. You know? But, yeah, I appreciate you having us on here for sure, man. And looking for great things to, to come ahead of us, for sure,
And I'm looking for, I'm glad to be, I really believe everything happens for a reason. Every people you meet in your life happens for a reason. So I'm just excited to see your journey as well and see where you guys go. And man, we can always elevate each other. So to conclude the podcast real quick, I just want to ask you guys real quick, can you just talk about, because a lot of people did reach out to me. They're asking me questions about, because they watched my story. I was posting a lot of information about you guys. A lot of them had questions about going into that film industry, acting, screenwriting. So can you just give everybody a blueprint, like a guide for dummies? If somebody wanted to do this, obviously you learned on the own, and you have not a lot you have a lot of knowledge that you can pass along to the next generation, so they don't have to go through the same struggles and hardships you guys, because now they have that information. But that's the beauty about modern society and social media and the internet. That's why I always tell my friends all the time, man, everything's on the internet. Anything you want in life,
Right.
like, there's nothing holding you back no more. And that's why I believe modern society is like the best time to succeed. All the resources, information, it's all on YouTube. It's just a matter of dedication and effort to go do what you have to do to get it. But if somebody's listening right now and they want to go down your footsteps, can you just give them like a play-by-play how to start a movie from the beginning, what they should do, what they should look out for, things that you made mistakes on and now they can avoid, and you're just giving them free game and free knowledge, so that way they can inspire them to pursue. But yeah, can you give? Because that's why I always believe that's why a lot of successful families stay successful, because once one person does it, he just teaches it to the next person.
Yeah.
Right. That's like a generational wealth. Yeah, because the families they know the blueprint. So once you know how to do it, you just teach it to your son, and then that's why the wealth continues on. But we are going to as this generation, our generation, we have to learn the blueprint first, and once we get to that level, we can pass it on. So if somebody's watching this right now, they want that blueprint. Can you just drop some knowledge, and this is what you do, how to get started, and the rest is up to them.
Yeah. So first things first is a script. Nothing happens without the script. And if you would learn the script game, you save yourself a lot of money, big time. And this is what I learned when I was going through the process. Is there's a few steps, but there's main 3 steps. It's a pre-production, production, and post-production. And when we were going through the process, I had someone tell me learn these 3 steps: pre-production, production and post-production. So learn those steps, and then you'll be all right. But what I feel throughout this journey is it's the way you carry yourself. You know what I mean? I think we made a lot of deals because wherever we go, we want to show some love. We don't go with like we know everything. Ask a lot of questions. Do your own research. You know what I mean? So when you start from the beginning, when we started at script writing, and then you just figure out, because the Google has everything. What's the next step after script writing? Okay, so you have to put all these steps together. Okay, who's going to direct? Who's going to be the camera person? There's all different steps. It's all on Google right there. And that's how we learned. And then you could YouTube everything. It's a tough road, but if I would tell someone to how to start, I would say learn the main steps of pre-production, production, and post-production.
Okay. All right. So once they get the script, once they learn those 3 steps, they finally get the script. How do they take it to the next level to get the cast, get the financing?
Yeah. So for us, it's like, since we couldn't find the money, we just put our own money in it.
Yep.
Big time. Yeah. We couldn't find any money at all from anyone else.
It's all sacrifice. Yeah. Sacrifice on our parts.
All right, no worries. And then as far as like how to find a cast for your movie, how did you guys do that?
So that was fun.
Yeah,
so that part was fun. Putting out the casting call for that. Manu had some people already in mind, and so we hit those people up first. But we did put it out there, and we did auditions, and because people were auditioning from all over. We did a lot of Zoom auditions, but I think that was the fun part for me, was to meet all these people and to see their passion for acting and sharing stories, and them knowing a little bit about what the story is and still willing to audition was amazing to me. But social media, that's what it was. We put it out on social media, and the reaction was just, social media is gold.
and then you get, go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead, Manu.
Oh, so like, because this is what we learned, because you get those actors where they say like, oh, how come you didn't choose me? You know what I mean? But for us, what I learned during the process is what the script chooses the actors. Ooh. Pretty much, So, I just had to put that out there, yeah. But one thing for us was,
is there a way how you like the script chooses the actor? Is there a way to know that? Like,
well,
You just know.
yeah. So how we write is that
can you explain that a little bit?
So how we write is that we write this a certain way, but we use the actors' the way they act, the way they carry themselves is how we'll rewrite the script to. So they don't really have to act; they just have to be themselves.
Got you.
But I don't know if that's the right way though. But that's how we do it.
But that's how we did it, yeah.
And it worked out fine.
and it worked out.
Yeah,
you worked.
Right.
Oh, so you adjusted the script to the
yeah.
of the actor. Oh, that's a free game right there, man. Y'all better super chats right now. Also, what about the equipment, right? That's always the what equipment did you guys use? Yeah, I think people want to know that.
Yeah, so that was something that we have no experience with, so we're gonna have to hire out on that one.
We were struggling with that.
Yeah,
with what Manu said. Go ahead, Manu.
So the equipment, I mean, since we were beginners, we had to get someone that was experienced.
Gotcha.
Big time. So we would feedback off the cinematographer, director, and we'll feed off each other. But if you're like us and you get someone that's not experienced, I don't think it'll work out. Mm-hmm. But we got someone that was experienced already in the field, so that they kind of like helped us out, mentored us along the way, and that helped us out big time. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then Lenny and Lee, anything you want to drop on, add on to the blueprint? Anybody out there that's you guys gonna want to add on to help them in their journey if they want to start their own movie or go into that industry?
Yeah, Lenny, you want to say something? Or well, let me take over then, just a little bit. A short amount of time, okay?
Right.
So yeah, like what Manu was saying, is like as we were writing the script and all that, and we're trying to figure out with the dialogues and all that. Sometimes there's a time in that timeline of filming and directing. We look at it as like, you know what, there was times we can just change the dialogues. You say, you know what, that character gets it. Let's do this. Let's see if we can change it up just a bit. Just to tune it up. Is like, all right, that sounds good. So each character that we did, we just like kind of like did it on the fly if we have to. You know what I mean? Because there is a lot of parts that we don't have on this film, but we did have a lot of, like we talked about earlier, it's a 3-hour film and all that, but we cut it down and all that and change the dialogues and to figure it out. Okay, this is the characters are going to say this, and then we just got to keep the tempo going, and then they have their parts, the next part, so on, etc. So yeah.
Okay. All right, no worries. And then Lenny, you want to add on to that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Hear me? Oh no. No, it's all good. It's all good. No worries. But yes, we have come to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, everybody that's watching this right now. I think TL said that first most important step to any pursuit worth your time, plan on paper. Ideas are like our assholes. Everyone's got one. Pen to paper. Then it becomes a process of elimination, addition when researching. Facts. All right. Thank you, TL, for always watching. Thank you very much for watching this right now.
Props for that. Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate the guests. Real quick shout out to the guests being on here. I'll definitely drop all the information, the links to their social media platforms. You can definitely follow them. And also, your movie will be dropping this year. Which month? Do you have an exact date, real quick? Date?
So for sure, it will jump the month of May 2022. More information will come, the following weeks. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, I'll drop all their links below, so that way, if you guys want to follow up and know the exact date information, definitely follow all of them. But thank you so much for tuning in. We have a great podcast tonight. Thank you for everybody that's sharing it. Like and subscribe to the channel. But you guys have a great night. Peace, y'all. Peace.
Peace. Thank you.